Welcome once again to the Ben Smith Coaches Show here on the Bear Network on BCHS.TV, where you can view our programs on YouTube. Just simply go there and search for BCHS.TV, and you can see all our shows free of charge. You can subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and you'll be notified anytime one of our shows is ready for your viewing pleasure. We'd like to thank Mr. Winslow and the students here in Studio 812 at Bradley Central for running all of our programs here. They do a great job, and what you see is behind the scenes. You don't see it, but that's who's back there making things happen. We appreciate them so very, very much. I'd like to introduce our good friend, guy that everybody knows, longtime wrestler, coach, assistant coach, and all that here at Bradley Central. That's Mr. Ben Smith. And Ben, welcome to the program again this week. We haven't had a chance to talk in a while because of holiday break and EOC testing and all that, and so forth and so on. But welcome once again.
Yeah.
How did your holidays go, bud?
Holidays went well, thank you. We got to see you at the mall. You were doing some laps, getting some work in like Bradley people do, and we were getting some pictures with Ho-Ho and Santa taken, and so it was good. The holidays were great. You know, we always shut down for a little bit of a break. Yeah. That week after the Invitational, so the week of, like prior to and of Christmas, our guys get a little bit of a break and some growth allowance for the weight classes, but it's good to be back, man, and we've been, you know, we had a busy week prior, and we've had 2 busy weeks afterwards. And
let's talk about that, Kent. Bring us up to date on what's happened. You had the Invitational. You have a lot of teams in for that, don't you?
Yeah, man. So we, the week of the Invitational, we had 2 dual meets that week. This is going to sound bad, but I don't remember who we wrestled on Tuesday.
That's all right.
But I know that we wrestled on Thursday of the Invitational, and we wrestled Walker Valley that night, which is, you know, a district match, regional opponent, and, you know, it's part of the city-county championship that we do with Bradley and Cleveland. And we won. We had girls matches that night. We won all the girls matches. We won all but 2 JV matches. I want to say there was 9 or 10 of those wrestled, and then we won 12 of 14 varsity matches. I can't remember the score. I want to say it was like 69-9, 72-9, something like that. But, you know, nothing against Walker Valley, but it's always good to beat them pretty handily and carry some momentum into.
Coached by a former Bear.
You know, it's not personal. I mean, there's been some times they've wanted to beat us really bad, and they came close a couple times, and I don't forget those times. So any time that we get a chance to put one on the Mustangs, we try to. And again, that's with respect. And we do the same to Cleveland and everyone else. But anyways, we had an invitational, you know, 35 teams.
Wow.
Over a 2-day span. We hosted our kids tournament that weekend, and then, like I said, we went on break. So we finished second in the invitational, slightly behind Huntsville. We had some good teams in from 5 different states, and Huntsville kind of snuck up on us. You know, I don't want to say they snuck up on us. They brought their full team, which normally they don't do. So I was kind of thought, okay, you know, that's odd. They normally send their better 2 or 3, but they brought their full team, and man, they had a really good semifinal round, and we kind of exposed ourselves a little bit. I felt like we woke up on Saturday feeling like we were already on Christmas break, but it was good to see where we are in a 3-day weigh-in, because we weighed in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that was the Saturday morning. We had some issues, but still finished second in our invitational. Would have loved to have won it. Went on break, came back, and man, we came right back out of the gate swinging with defending small school state champion Signal Mountain. Pretty good match with them. They were kind of a scary matchup for us. I think we only lost 3 or 4 matches. Had a good match that evening. Then we retired Matt Keller's singlet on that Thursday with alumni night. Really good night for us. And then we went to Father Ryan, the Johnny Drennan Invitational. Our buddies at Father Ryan. It's always a fun weekend, but again, another 3-day weigh-in weekend, kind of mimicking that state tournament. And we finished right behind Union County, Kentucky, and Father Ryan finished 3rd, but we finished ahead of Cleveland that weekend, which leading into Cleveland week last week was that was big momentum. It's the first time we've beat them in an invitational in a couple of years. I think we finished ahead of them in the region in 2019 or 2020. Yeah. So, you know, it's always nice, you know, especially the way that they chirp up Cleveland week, and we do too, but, you know, it was nice to get over that hump a little bit. And we had Ray County on Tuesday, region match, wrestled okay, and then we had Cleveland on Thursday. Came up just a little bit short, 22 to 35. Lost some close ones. You know, there's some 9.6. There's a lot of 6-point swings in that match that close that gap real quick. They've made adjustments. Are making adjustments. And then we just got back from Brentwood GP West Invitational this weekend, where we got to see Father Ryan, or I'm sorry, not Father Ryan, but Wilson Central, which is kind of, you know, us, Cleveland, Wilson Central have kind of been the top three for the past decade. And we finished ahead of Wilson Central, just slightly behind Modern Day, big private school out of Indiana. And yeah, man, we're here. I mean, we were at a JV tournament yesterday. We practiced very early yesterday morning. I was with JV at Halls yesterday with Coach Blackman, and then we were practicing early again this morning. So we're going to give them an afternoon off to be normal. And then,
great.
And then we're going to, we got senior night on Friday, and that's our last competition, non-JV freshman related, until region duels next weekend. So we have been running wide open, you know, foot on the gas, so that we can kind of throttle back, recover. We've got some guys descending in their weight classes and kind of making some adjustments for that region duels. Huge implications for the state tournament in that region duels, sectional duels week. So we're kind of, you know, let's see how we are, let's get our conditioning back, and now let's rest and recover and get where we need to get.
Man, you guys have been really on a roll there. Who's your match with Friday for the?
It's actually Nolensville, which is a you know, I think it's a newer, less than a decade old school, and in the Murfreesboro area. Like most of those schools popping up in that area, they've been small school for the past couple of years, but they have been very good. They've had a kids program that has been unbelievable for a few years, and now they're up to they're up to AAA, and they're good. I think they're ranked 6th or 7th in our division now. They're really good up top. It's a scary matchup for us. I needed a 5th home match, and most people don't want to come wrestle at Bradley, but they sought us out. They're going to come down here on Friday night, and we're going to get it on. So, but they're tough.
Well, and you mentioned earlier in one of the invitations where he was at, said you got exposed. But right now is the time you want to get exposed. You're going to get exposed.
100%.
You want to win every match out there. You go out there to win. But hey, if you don't win, here's why you didn't win.
Well, you know, I learned a long time ago, you know, with coaching and really wrestling in general, like athletics in general, you kind of have to check your ego at the door. You know, if you're winning everything, you're either the best in the world or you're not getting pushed. You're not seeking out the right competition. And so that's been a big difference in my tenure as the head coach is, you know, I'm not Steve Logsdon, and we've lost more than we did under him. The competition is I don't shy away from competition, and I do want our guys to be ready when it matters. And it's like you said, you know, I mean, coming off that break, we've got to reestablish conditioning. And we had some guys shift weight classes, and so the whole mantra for us has been, look, once we come back from the break, we're 3 weeks until we get to the postseason, realistically. And so, you know, the challenge has been we can do anything for 21 days. We can do anything for 14 days. Like when you see an end in sight or you see a rest or recovery period in sight, it's really been neat to kind of watch those guys, because out of 12 competitive or practice days, we've weighed in 8 of those days and competed 8 of those, not counting the 2 Sundays. So in the past 14 days, we've had 8 weigh-ins against stout competition, all for the point of being ready for next Thursday and that following weekend in Franklin at the state duels. But yeah, if we're going to get exposed, let's get exposed now, because our practices and our between what Coach Blackman and Coach Cordell and what I believe myself do in the postseason with practices, now that we're entering back into a recovery practice phase, I really feel like the gains that we're going to make, because our practices are harder than a lot of our competitions, and our training phases are more difficult than a lot of our competition phases. Well, now we've got a chance to recover, descend, and make some corrections. We do this time of the year really well, and it's good for our kids. Like today, they practiced this morning. They've got a senior meeting after school. Go home and be normal for the day. They practiced early yesterday. We went and coached JV. They went home for the day. Like they've had 2 days to kind of be normal for Wednesday and Thursday to get ready for Friday. So, you know, we're trying to coach the head and the heart as much as we are the body right now.
Oh, yeah. I know you're coming out of the Christmas holiday break. You have a weight tolerance or weight allowance, so you can gain, what, 2 pounds? Yeah,
so every weight class increases by 2. So 106 is now 108, 113 is now 115. And so as good as that sounds, a lot of times what happens is people drop weight classes. So, 113 isn't obtainable, but now 115 is, and so you see those adjustments. So the guys that are staying at their weight classes, yeah, man, it's perfect. You get to lift a little bit more, eat a little bit more. You don't have to practice in sweats as much. But for teams like ours that are descending, a lot of times, like Bryson Terrell, he's our 120 pounder. He's #1 ranked kid in the state and defending state champion at 120. But he's also certified at 115. So if we descend him for dual purposes, things get tougher for him, but it makes our lineup better. Yeah. Now, when the individual season kicks off, like when that postseason individual phase hits, he'll puff right back up if that's what we decide to do. But a lot of times with that added weight class, you see dissensions happen.
I had a funny incident happen. I guess it's last week. In a class, I had a kid. It became lunchtime. Everybody gets up, goes out to eat. One kid didn't go out, and I said, "Going to eat before I can get it out of my mouth." I said, "He's wearing a tie."
Wrestler, yeah.
Wearing a tie. I said, "You're a wrestler."
You got to make weight today.
So you got a match tonight, don't you? Yep, sure do.
Got to make weight.
Yep.
Got to make weight.
How did that tradition get started, wearing the ties? I've seen that for years here. Who started that tradition and what?
That's a good question. So Coach Stowe, which was Coach Jackson's coach, at Butler High School, started that.
In Alabama.
And so when Coach Jackson came, he brought that with him, and then that carried on through Coach Logston to me, and that's just the thing, And I think the premise of it is a lot of people kind of, I don't know, and I'm really big on this. Sometimes I think athletes think that just because they're an athlete, there's special privileges allotted to them. Match day, warm-ups, jersey, whatever. Well, for us, it's work. Like match days, we're going to go to work. So we're in work day attire.
Dress like work.
We're going to dress like we're there to work. We're travel, and you travel in shirts and ties. I think that's when you value character, when character is one of your program values. I think that represents high character. I think it is also helping those kids understand it's professional world ready. On top of, when you're in class, it's like, hey, what are you dressed up for today? I got a match tonight. Why don't you come check it out? So there's a lot of purposes behind it, but it's been a tradition here that goes back to, I don't want to say a date Coach Jackson or Coach Stowe, but it's a tradition that goes back 30 or 40 years.
It's easy to recognize wrestlers walking down the hall here at school. Hey.
Yep.
It's match day. Here's all these guys.
That's right.
How about the girls? Do they have any special?
So that's that's Coach Kinsey and Coach Moore. They're Sunday's best. They need to look like they're going to church to praise the Lord, and that's what we ask. A lot of times it's dress, skirt, Sunday's best, but wrestling being a winter sport, you're gonna have to be mindful of the elements as well. But they've had a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to speak for them. I've tried to do a good job of separating myself from that program to a certain extent, because if it's going to be a standalone program, then I have to back away. And as Coach Blackman and Coach Matthews would tell you, I don't delegate well, so I hover. So if I either have to completely disconnect or I hover. Yeah. And but they've been doing a great job. They competed yesterday, got second in the Halls tournament. They got second in the St. Andrew Swanee this weekend. They won a tournament last weekend at Maryville. I mean, they're all over the place, man. Wow. They've still got some things to work out and some kinks.
It's still a new program now, really.
And there's a lot of girls on that team that have never wrestled before, and they're doing really good things. The problem is they're being compared to us.
That's unfair.
And it's not fair, we're, like I said before, we're 10 to 12 years behind the other parts of the state with girls wrestling. So we're still playing catch up, but, they're still a top 10 ranked program with the goals of qualifying for the state duels. They've got regional duels coming up this weekend, sectional duels next weekend. And Coach Kinsey and Coach Moore and Coach Bennett are doing a great job with those girls.
Big growth curve there, as you say, starting from scratch just 3 or 4 years ago.
It's huge.
Bringing it up now.
Yep.
And we've not talked since you've had challenge matches back first year. Did anything new come out of that? Anything surprises to you, or are you pleased with where the program is at this point of the season? I mean, are we where you think we need to be or should be, or are we?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question. I appreciate you asking. I'm never satisfied, and that's probably what makes people think I'm grumpy all the time. I try to live by the mantra, like kind of one of our things is if you're comfortable, you're not getting better. You know, if you're not uncomfortable in practice, then you're not getting better. You know, kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier. You know, if
take
you're
them out of their comfort zone.
Yes, and so overall, I do believe we're where we need to be. Challenge matches, we've made some dissensions, and there were some changes at some weight classes. I feel like that we're at about 85-90% of our best lineup. When we wrestled Cleveland on Thursday, that was a huge moment for us because, and again, I don't know their lineup, but I know it pretty well. They had a kid come in at 220 that we've been waiting to come in. I think he came in earlier than what we thought he would. It gave us a look at our new 220. We have a new 220. They have theirs back. We got to see that matchup. I feel like we're where we need to be. Obviously would have loved to win that match, but in all honesty, we lost it a lot closer than probably what they thought we would. And, you know, I mean, we're ahead of Wilson Central. We're ahead of Summit. We're ahead of Blackman. We're right there on the heels of Cleveland. They're the defending state champion, and it's theirs to lose, but I really do feel like, you know, we're fairly healthy right now. We're fairly injury-free. And like I said, we do this time of the year real well. And so I'm kind of excited to see what next Thursday brings.
When will the postseason begin for you? Was that the start of the postseason?
Sure, officially it'll start next Thursday. So region duels at McMinn County next Thursday. I think it will be Cleveland and Walker Valley still have to wrestle, but it'll be Cleveland and us are in the same district. They've beat us, so we're district runner-up. We're waiting to see who the district champion from that side will be. I believe it will be Walker Valley, so it'll probably be us and Walker Valley in round one, and then Cleveland and somebody, and we will wrestle the finals. We're going to, you know, like they're not going to forfeit and we're not going to forfeit, so you're going to see a state finals rematch again to region duels next weekend. I'm sorry, next Thursday, and then that will set up the sectionals, you know. So if we win, we'll host the sectional here on Saturday the 28th, and if not, then we'll travel to probably Blackman or Oakland on that Saturday for a trip to the state tournament.
It's like, I talked to other coaches, you know, it seems like it takes forever the season to get here, and then once it does, it just blows by in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I feel like I just saw you at the mall when we were seeing Ho-Ho and Santa a couple weeks ago. I literally, I mean, I've seen my children awake outside of Sundays maybe 4 nights in the past 14. It's been a blur, and but yeah, it's here. You know, I'm looking forward to this week. As far as a little bit of a slowdown, I really enjoy practice. We do practice really well here, and our guys need that. They need that competitive break. So as long as they stay healthy and keep their weight down, we should be in a good spot.
And I'll ask Mr. Swore, you're off camera there. We're going to be streaming the match Friday night here. All right, so there, folks.
Yes, sir.
If you can't make it, 7 o'clock on Bear TV, watch it there through YouTube, and we appreciate that. It's another good way to watch it.
That's right.
Come on out if you can. It's fun, excitement in the air. I mean, it is intense. It is very emotional, and man, it's just great. Yeah,
Cleveland like to, you know, they hang their hat on how they do home matches, but we've been doing home matches like that for a long time.
Yeah,
and that's what, you know, they said. Luke Belcher said, you know, it was a post-match interview. He's like, "Is there any other environment better than this right here?" And I was like, "Yeah, Bradley." and I really feel like we have the best dual meet environment in the state. I mean, when you make, you know, we made really good money off of Oodawall Alumni Night. I mean, when you can bring a crowd into, you know, not just your Bradley Clevelands and your Bradley Walker Valleys and your Bradley Soddies, like when you're making money off your home matches, which is a minor sport that it's not supposed to make money.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we make money off every home match we make, thank the Lord. But yeah, it's a fun, unique environment. So come check it out.
Yeah, we appreciate you as always. Coach Ben Smith here, head of the Bear Wrestling Program for many, many years. And this is Gary Ownbey, been your host here today on our show here in GOH 12 on BCHS.TV. Until next time, we'll say so long for now. God bless and go Bears and Bearettes.
That's right. Thank you.